It is 8 p.m. and here are our top stories. An Indigenous mother killed while pregnant.
She's just going to be very missed.
Tonight, we are hearing from her family as Colorado takes steps to solve more cases involving Indigenous people. Denver's new trash program starts in less than a month, but thousands of residents are still waiting for their bins.
I'm willing to cut them a lot of slack. In knowing that they're rolling out a whole new program to the entire city.
Tonight, how the city is responding to concerns over the delays. A Colorado woman is at the Supreme Court as the justices hear oral arguments in her case.
There are some messages I can't create no matter who requests them.
The basic idea is if you open your doors to the public, you have to accommodate all comers.
How the case could impact LGBTQ+ rights across the nation. Thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Amy Wattis. The family of an Indigenous woman who was missing for nearly a week and found murdered this weekend believes police did not act quickly enough. This is Nicole Burch-Woodhull, a 28-year-old mother, sister, and daughter who was expecting her third child. We spoke with her older sister who says she was last seen last weekend with her husband, who family has identified as the suspect in this case. Her sister says she contacted police quickly, but says Burch-Woodhull had a warrant out for her arrest at the time, and apparently police believed she was hiding. The family reached out to members of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives Task Force, who got the newly formed state office involved.
This was not like her to be gone that long. And that's what Felicia kept trying to tell them, like, this is not like her. This is not a habit. She's never been gone this long before. They have history between her husband, the one that's currently being charged. There's been some history there of domestic violence before.
Those with the task force believe one of the issues related to the investigation during the first few days when Burch-Woodhull was missing were the close boundaries between the Southern Ute and Ignacio police departments. CBI says it can't comment on the initial responses of other agencies and are focused on investigating the murder. Now, we are just a few weeks out from the new year, which will bring a new trash collection program to the city of Denver. City Council passed a pay-as-you-throw model earlier this year. It will offer recycling and composting for free and then charge $9 to $21 for trash based on the amount you're throwing away each week. But with the program about to officially begin, we are hearing from many residents still waiting on their smaller, cheaper trash bins. So Denver 7's Rob Harris went to the city and asked them what's taken so long.
A lot of my day's been spent on the internet, hearing from people who've been trying to get a smaller trash cart delivered to their house. But someone told me they've spent time online and on hold with 311 just trying to make the request. And others have submitted a request, but they've been waiting for weeks or months for their new cart to be delivered.
I've been composting ever since my neighborhood got the green cart. You just open the lid of this huge cart and you just put the leaves right in there. It's amazing.
Tara Toll is one of about 30,000 in Denver who are already composting, and she's been recruiting her neighbors to join her.
My next door neighbor used to share my cart because I got the large size, and she liked it so much she got her own cart.
With so much going into her recycling and composting bins, Toll knew right away she'll want the smallest, cheapest trash cart. She says she put in a request back in the summer.
I didn't get it, so I called them back, and that's when they said, we got so many phone calls, so many people want to change their cart size, that we're going to do it all at once, kind of late November, early December. So now I'm thinking I'm going to hear from them and I should get the cart soon.
About 8,200 people have requested a smaller bin so far, and a rep from the city tells me we are working to fulfill those requests by the end of December, before invoicing begins, meaning before they would be charged for the larger bins. The new pricing kicks in first billing cycle of 2023, which is January through March, but some parts of the city won't see composting pickup until the summer. The city says people in those areas will get a $9 credit on each quarterly bill until composting pickup comes to their neighborhoods.
I'm willing to cut them a lot of slack in knowing that they're rolling out a whole new program to the entire city. I think it'll take some time, but I think Denver will get there.
For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
Denver City Council is meeting right now to hold a final vote on the redevelopment plan for the former Park Hill Golf Course. The public hearing part of that meeting is still going on, and council is expected to vote on the plan any minute now. The plan would include designated spaces for affordable housing, green spaces, and a grocery store. Before developers can break ground, the plan must be approved by Denver voters. The soonest that could happen would be this spring.
And property.
Aurora swore in Art Acevedo as the city's newest interim police chief tonight. Acevedo led several police departments in Texas, but mostly recently in Miami. He was fired there after just 6 months on the job. Aurora has not had a permanent police chief since April, when former Chief Wilson was fired. The city says it's still searching for a permanent replacement. The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments today in a case that could have sweeping effects on LGBTQ+ rights in the U.S. The case is out of Colorado and involves a website designer who says she wants the right to deny her services to same-sex couples. Denver 7's Megan Lopez takes a closer look at the case and explains what's at stake.
For the second time in 4 years,
we'll hear argument first this morning.
The U.S. Supreme Court is considering a case over LGBTQ rights that stems from Colorado. Last time it was cakes, this time,
like more warm tones.
It's a graphic artist who says she doesn't want to design wedding websites for same-sex couples. Lori Smith isn't being sued by anyone, but worries she could be in the future or fined by the state for her refusal.
There are some messages I can't create no matter who requests them.
In court Monday, Smith's attorneys argued that the message that comes through these websites is both hers and her clients.
When you're requiring a speaker to create a message to celebrate something that they believe to be false, you're compelling their speech.
But liberal justices like Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor pushed back.
You're not inviting them to the wedding. Lily and Mary are. So how has it become your message?
Also questioning how far a decision like this could potentially go in the balance between free speech and anti-discrimination.
How about people who don't believe in interracial marriage? Or about people who don't believe that disabled people should get married?
At the heart of this case is Colorado's public accommodation requirement, a principle that's been in place since the 1860s.
The basic idea is if you open your doors to the public, you have to accommodate all comers.
But in court, conservative justices question how Colorado applies the law.
You're making kind of a sliver of an argument.
And whether the state's use of it is selective or broad.
Does every press release writer, freelance writer, have to write a press release for the Church of Scientology, say, even though the beliefs of that institution may be inimical to that person?
After making their final pleas to the court,
free speech is worthy of protecting.
Both sides made their final arguments to the public.
No one should be forced to say something they don't believe under threat of fines, imprisonment, and other penalties.
This is a broad free speech clause, which means anyone's moral views, however odious they are, would get protected under the free speech clause with a ruling against the state of Colorado.
In a case that could be consequential not just for Colorado, but across the country. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
Now, this isn't the first time the Supreme Court has heard a case involving LGBTQ+ rights and Colorado. You may recall the Masterpiece Cake Shop case, which was decided in 2018. The Supreme Court sided with baker Jack Phillips, who said it was his religious freedom to deny service to a gay couple. We asked A.G. Weiser how today's case differs.
First, this case is what you might call a facial challenge on the face of the law, or a pre-enforcement challenge. That means there are no relevant facts here. There were no websites ever made. No one was ever turned away. In Masterpiece Cake Shop, there was an actual marketplace transaction that generated the case.
Weiser says the Masterpiece Cakes case was also rooted in religious freedom. He says this case is about free speech and would apply to anyone's moral or other expressive views. At Denver 7, we want to provide the absolute best TV watching experience to as many people as possible. To do that, we need to make some upgrades to our transmitter. When the work is complete, our signal will be much crisper and will reach a lot more Coloradans. Unfortunately, to make the improvements, we need to switch off the transmitter for a couple of days. We're planning to do that tomorrow morning. Now, our transmitter will be off until Thursday afternoon. We want to apologize in advance for any inconvenience this may cause. We promise to get it done as quickly as possible. A group of fans is taking swift action against Ticketmaster.
They did everything that Ticketmaster told them to do. The only thing that they left with is like heartbreak and no ticket.
Why they are suing the ticket company, accusing them of fraud.
Any oil-consuming country should be on alert. We'll see what happens.
Plus, Colorado's gas prices are low, but new sanctions on Russia could impact how much you're paying at the pump. And a Colorado mental health hospital is getting some extra space.
We'll take anything we can get. And, I think we're excited about what this means.
How that could help clear up hundreds of backlogged court cases.